This is an exclusive from Leaving the Ring.
Yes, hello?
Hey, Bernard, how you doing, brother? This is Dave Duenas with Leave It in the Ring radio show.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for taking the time to talk to us, Bernard. I know you're busy.
No problem. Believe it or not, I'm doing my crunches while I'm talking to you.
Oh,
Yeah, so if it sounds like I'm on a toilet, man, that ain't that. I'm just doing my crunches as I'm talking to you, but I can hear you. Seriously, I am. I'm on the ball. I'm on big balls, man. You know, doing my thing on the exercising balls, just crunching back and forth while I'm talking to you. Because I'm trying to keep it moving, man. I got my body warmed up, so. But I'm gonna give you what I can give you, brother. So let's rock and roll, man. April 3rd, right?
April 3rd, man. So we had Roy Jones on Sunday, okay? And he had some things to say about you, and I'd like to hear your response. The first thing that he had said about you was that this is really based on jealousy that you have for him.
Jealousy? I think it's more being competitive. I think that, my career has took a different turn for the best. And I don't know what he basing jealousy on. Because if we look at his record, his career, it's been an outstanding career with a few flaws. Those few flaws are name Antonio Tarver, Glenn Coffee Johnson, and I guess the guy he just fought, which is controversial. So I don't even want to use that one because I had to see that myself because I was kind of worried and shaky prior to seeing it on YouTube how he didn't get the benefit of the doubt and got up and things like that. So I can't even count that. Remember, there's 17 years in the making. So when I see a decade and I see past a decade, as long as it ain't past 17 years, that's how long Roy Jones Jr. has not tried seriously, but wasn't seriously stepping in that ring with me, unless he was under the circumstances where his career needed to be resurrected. And it's funny how time goes and how time goes around and always come back to zero again because
Bernard,
I am his green light. I am I'm his CPR to life now.
Bernard, let me ask you this though. Because right now you just said it. You're the only guy right now that can actually bring him back into the boxing scene. By him, giving him that shot. Why give him that chance? You're obviously on the top of the world in your career. You have made so many accomplishments in your career. You have had losses that don't belong to be losses in your career. Why give Roy Jones right now at this time when there's obviously three other names out there that you can in the ring with? Why give Roy the opportunity?
Because it's personal. And when things are personal, rationales and rationals goes out the window. And so when it's personal, you don't think about what can you lose, what can you gain. You think about cleaning something up, which is called unfinished business. And I don't know if this is something that you can understand, maybe not agree, but can understand where I'm coming from.
No, I understand where you're coming from.
This is personal to the point is that when you need to be motivated at the stage of my life and the stage of my career now, Chad Dawson doesn't motivate me. I beat him, I become nameless. He beat me, he become a hero. And fighting Roy Jones Jr. is not an embarrassment. Fighting Roy Jones Jr. is knowing that when an animal is wounded and an animal is suffering, you would come over trying to give the animal compassion and to help the animal. But if you go close to that animal, if you talk to any veterinarian, they will tell you never get close, never approach a wounded animal. Roy Jones is wounded. He's been talked about. He's been thrown under the bus. He's been ridiculed. He needs this one big, buddy. And if you and anybody else think, nothing personal, think that I'm asleep on this fight and think that Roy Jones is not of some substance to be able to rise to the occasion, because all greats do. And yeah, I called him great. And so at the end of the day, I'm not taking this dude lightly because I understand that his name will be under the lights on ESPN's Sports Center, if he beat Bernard Hopkins. That's one thing about the UFC. Kimbo Slice can get knocked out Monday. He can beat a guy Wednesday and be back on top. Boxing is the only rich poor man rich sport. Well, it's not a rich man poor man. It's a poor man rich sport. You got to be poor before you become rich in boxing. Somebody
Right.
rich that comes in boxing and becomes richer. Either you poor become boxing or you don't box at all. But this is the only sport, unlike the UFC and MMA, where they don't give a damn about who got knocked out Monday, is who
Right.
fighting Wednesday. I think when you try to keep somebody down, whether it's a job offer, you know about that. You black, ain't you?
No, I'm
So
Mexican.
you know about you're black. And so they can't make things right to fight Chad Dawson. Nobody knows Chad Dawson. He can't even sell out Hartford, Connecticut. That's already been proven. Then let me go ahead and start with Roy Jones Jr. and clean up the middle, the heavyweight division like I did. If I can't get the fight with David Haye or the winner of David Haye and John Luis to become the second behind Roy Jones Jr., the only middleweight to ever won a heavyweight championship. I'm about doing things that people don't expect me to do. See, people expect me to beat Roy, and that's dangerous because I know how Roy's thinking for this fight. Roy know I'm coming for his ass. And trust me, dog, I ain't selling you nothing. You know for a fact you're going to watch this fight. You know why you're going to watch this fight? Because guess what? It's the unknown in boxing.
Absolutely. Now you're the promoter. Now you're doing your thing as a promoter. But I've always said that you're probably the last of the blue collar hard men in boxing, and nobody seems to be picking up that label anymore. But I've seen you talk to some fighters like Shane Mosley. Shane looks like he's been stepping up his game and starting to try to call out fighters. And finally, it paid off by getting Floyd Mayweather. How much of the do you influence?
You see that. Now again, I don't want to take no credit, but you seem to be kind of smart. You see me do that in the ring, right?
Yep.
You see that? You know who did that, right? You know who?
Oh, I know you did. I
personality
seen you chirp in his ear. I seen it, and I even gave you credit when I talked to Shane. I said it looks like you're listening to what B-Hop's saying, because if anybody's got gift the gab, it's you.
And then you gotta have that swagger. And what did he say?
Oh, he said, yeah, man. He goes, absolutely. But my question is this. Not all Golden Boys or other fighters from other promoters, because we talked about that getting a loss, then all of a sudden
listen. I know what you're saying. Let's keep it real. Golden Boy, I'm doing that. I'm the muscle.
Right.
No disrespect, dog. I know where you're going at. And if you wasn't, then I'm gonna tell you anyway. Even if you wasn't going there, it's just my personality, dog. I'm not a house nigga for nobody. Man. At the end of the day, dog, I can stay home and I do nothing. But that's not my personality. So, because at the end of the day, dog, I'm gonna speak my mind, what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
They don't speak up. They don't say certain things because they 100% corporate, and I'm not. I'm both. I can be corporate, then I can be the guy I gotta be when it's time to be. That makes me dangerous.
Right now, when you said, the UFC, you can lose today, but then fight tomorrow, win, and then be on top, you're absolutely right. I mean, but I think it's the promoters from the past that have ruined boxing for doing that. You know what I mean? Stuffing it in people's face that if you ain't got a 0 on your record, then you basically ain't shit.
But guess what? Right now, that would have worked. But right now, it's a financial recession. And it's a situation when people now rather see a guy lose on his feet than politically don't fight by politics. Let me repeat that again. They'd rather see them lose on their feet than not fight by politics.
David Haye, I know you've expressed that. That's a fight.
I want that. They don't want to give me that fight. Listen, I want that fight bad, but they don't want to give it to me because they don't want me to shine like that.
But you're Bernard Hopkins. How can somebody stop you from taking a fight? That's what I'm not understanding. You're not.
Let me ask you a question. You said something most important. Then why did I sit for 18 months after beating Kelly Pavlik, who was 17 years younger, who was a 5-1 favor of me? Why did they sit me down, my own company, and boxing people and HBO took 2 dates from me, gave me one in June, gave me one in January, top of this year, and took that from me. I'm still Bernard Hopkins, and they did that too, brother. You think I wanted to stay off 17, 13, 14 months and had to come up with an idea so I wouldn't sit all the way up to 2010 and fight a regate for no money at the Temple Day Course Center in Philadelphia? Come on, man. Let's don't be naive to this, man. If you're gonna expose it, be different than the other writers, dog. You got the damn Raphael, you got the old writers that tied in with the networks and tied in with the papers, dog, tied in with the promoters. They're not gonna write about that. You're gonna write it because you ain't in that clique. Once you get in that clique, everything I said will be broken up different, man.
Absolutely.
You think I wanted to sit? You think I wanted to sit for those months, man? To sit on my ass after beating one of the biggest fights? You think Shane Mosley? You think Shane Mosley had to beat me?
I didn't think you would, but I didn't hear you. I didn't hear much from you though. That's what I'm saying though.
You think Shane? Because I remember I told them who I wanted to fight. They wanted me to fight Chad Dawson for no money because they want me to go through that young Lions Den again.
But you've done that road.
But they want me to do it again. for no money.
I don't want to see you get in with Chad Dawson. I want to see you get in with David Haye.
Well, that's what I want to do, and let's see what happens because we have Golden Boy have a part of David Haye contract being the American promoter, and let's see what happen. And we got John and Weiss too, and that's why I'm looking to fight after this, and that's why they fighting the same night we're fighting, and that's why I told Richard Schaefer that I want that fight. We got a relationship with both sides. I said, and guess what? If we start talking about it now, because John and Weiss was beaten by Roy Jones Jr., and so ironically, I want to do the same thing. We fight on the same night. We can tie both of them together. We can tie the concept together. Everybody looked at me like I had 3 heads, but like, this guy's too goddamn smart for himself. That's my problem. I'm too damn smart for myself, and they don't like it. You got David Haye, you got all them fighting April 3rd, you got me fighting April 3rd. That didn't happen by accident. You called Richard Schaefer and asked him who suggested that should happen. and my team has to mention right now, right away, that I want to fight the winner of John Weiss and David Haye. You can't do it after the fight. You got to do it now.
Right.
Because people want to know what I want to do after Roy Jones fight, assuming I beat Roy.